Russians and Iranian and Ukraine's NATO facility.
And looks like we are live. Larry, how are you doing, my friend? Oh, now I don't hear you. Just a second. Okay, now I hear you. How are you doing, Larry? Yes.
You hear me now? Yep, I'm fine.
Every week, Larry, we try to finish the day wishing for better days, and then someone gets assassinated again and again and again. So I would like to start today talking about the martyr of Yahya Sinwar. The name of the episode today was The Factory of Heroes. So it looks like Israel is becoming a factory of heroes. You know, every week they're just killing someone that's quite important, and it doesn't look good for them. So what do you think about this the death of Yahya Sinwar?
Well, it's going to change the outcome of the war. If Israel thinks that it can decapitate Hamas leadership and then force Hamas to disappear as an organization, I think it's a fool's dream. It's not going to happen. I think the Israelis unintentionally, inadvertently created a new hero, not just among the Palestinian people, but among many Arabs and Muslims in the Middle East, in the Levant. As of Yahya Sinwar, not sitting at a desk, not cowering in a corner, fighting and continuing to fight, even though he was badly wounded, missing an arm, at least a hand. He still continued to fight until he was killed. So that, I don't see if it helps, Israel putting that out. I don't think did themselves any favor. If anything, it probably reinforced willing the Palestinian people to continue to fight what they see as Israeli occupation.
Yeah, there's a second video that I later on watched. I'm not sure it's absolutely related, but it seems like a video of two tanks shooting the guy. And it was exposed, but like this is the time he was killed. So it took two tanks, two big tanks. Well, what they call the best tank in the world, at least, plus a drone to assassinate the guy. Even Bruce Willis was never that badass in Die Hard or whatever. This looked very, very badass to me.
Yeah, well, no, he again, Sinwar had been hiding out in a bunker somewhere, killed that way, but that's not the case. He was above ground carrying a gun, fighting Israelis.
Yep.
And that sends a message. And apparently, according to Alistair Crook, it's really it's been seized upon by social media throughout the Arab and Muslim world. So it's elevated Sinwar to a martyr status beyond what he'd normally have had he just died in an obscure fashion.
Yeah, plus the afterwards, I'm not sure that this was shown by the Israeli forces or the Israeli states. There was this scene in the tunnels where he was evacuating his family. That also touched people, So the guy was worried about evacuating the family and then going back and, dying for the cause. The way that he has said for years that he would rather than dying sitting in a chair of old age, whatever. The perspectives of these.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, he spent a lifetime being persecuted by the Israelis. He was born in captivity in a refugee camp. I think I've heard he spent 22 years in an Israeli prison. And then, then they're surprised when he gets out, he wants to seek revenge. Good grief.
Yeah. One thing, Larry, so moving from this was two interesting facts of this week, but moving from this a little bit, still related. One thing that I noticed, and perhaps this is just a perception, and that I would like to confirm with you, after the Iranian bombing of Israel, and a little bit also after the drone sent by Hezbollah into the Israeli forces, dining room and all that.
Right.
It looks to me like the nuclear narrative has died down a little bit. What do you think? It was just a personal perception from me, or do you see these as well a little bit?
Well, no. Look, the Israelis hit back. Iran hit back at the Israelis on October 1st in retaliation for the assassination of Ania and the assassination of Nasrallah. And Israel wasn't able to do anything to stop it. And since then, both Hezbollah and the Houthis have continued to hit Israel with missiles and drones and inflict casualties. Israel's, now that they've shifted the war, tried to shift the war to Lebanon, Israel's taking far more casualties. So against that backdrop, Israel's vowing a retaliation. And we got some insight into their planning for that retaliation with the leak this week of or last week on Friday of two pieces of U.S. intelligence. Intelligence reports that were primarily designed to be read only by U.S. personnel, but portions of them were going to be shared with members of the Five Eyes, in other words, the Brits, Canadians, the Aussies, and the Kiwis, the New Zealanders. And but what that intelligence showed is that Israel is making preparations, but they're not making hurried, rash preparations. They're not operating with a sense of urgency. And the second document in that trove indicated that Israel's at a low to medium level of readiness. So they're not at a high level, which you anticipate if a response was imminent. It also looks like that out of those documents, Israel is taking use of nuclear weapons off the table, at least for now. So this, I think Israel's caught in a bit of a conundrum trying to figure out what to do. Because now with this leak, it ensures that Iran has some very valuable information about possible Israeli vectors of attack, things that Iran may be able to do to deflect or defeat those vectors. And that doesn't mean that Israel will stick with this plan. It may go to something else. But just having to shift the plan would be a response to the leaks. And then it puts more time on Israel having to make preparations that they may not have anticipated making. So this. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was just saying. So this, this entire leaked document episode highlights. People. I think the tendency is people to think that only the United States had this information, but I'd be willing to battle money that Russians, Chinese, and even the Indians had some of this information too on their own satellite collection systems, through their own use of SIGINT. It is, we live in an era where the ability to secretly plan attacks has virtually disappeared.
Yeah, that's one thing that's very important to people to understand, that other countries have capabilities that perhaps 70 years ago was not that. You even mentioned perhaps even India and other countries, perhaps even Iran. Iran the other day was launching some satellites. So there are other countries with capabilities to identify things. But since you came to the leak, this is a point that it's extremely important for the week. I watched the interview that you had with the judge, and also Alistair Cook and Ray McGovern, and very interesting points were raised there. But I think the ones that you raised were extremely important, which is the level of classification of the documents, which you just mentioned. Basically, just the United States would have access to that. And so I would like, first of all, to rhetorically, but to understand better how is this level of classification, who would have access to that, and who could have, not who exactly the name of the guy, but how many people, or more or less what kind of people would have access to these documents to be leaked.
So think of a security clearance as a key, and the information's behind a locked door, so only those people with the key can open that door and get in to see it. So you've got secret is one level, and then you have top secret. So you open the door, top secret. Behind that secret door, you're going to come up against other locked doors. One door is going to be marked TK. One door is going to be marked SI. One door will be marked Gamma. One would be marked perhaps FGI, which stands for Foreign Government Intelligence. So in order to get access to those doors, you also need to get another key. So you could potentially find 10, 15, 20 different keys to give you access to additional top secret information. So this overall document was not just top secret, it was identified as having, they had 4 other caveats attached. They had TK, they had FGI-ISR, they had RSEN, and then listed as no foreign. Now, no foreign means if you're a foreigner, you can't have access to this. So you're not even though you get a top secret clearance, if you're a foreigner, you can't even go through the top secret door to see this information. That's how this document was classified. Then what they do is they will then classify each specific paragraph so that they then can share with people that they get the information that the person doesn't have access to. So in this case, there were 5 paragraphs missing, and there was another designation that said REL, release to USA, and then FVEY, 5I. And that's 5 is the symbol for the relationship that the United States has with 4 other countries: Great Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So it says 5 eyes. That means 5. All those countries, if they have the top secret clearance, can get access to see what's in that information in that paragraph. Well, of this entire report, there were 5 paragraphs. Paragraphs 1, 3, and 5. The people who were 5 eyes had access to it. Paragraph 2 was listed as no foreign, based on foreign government intelligence, which means none of the other 5 eye countries could see it. And then paragraph 4 listed Great Britain as the one information apart from the United States. Well, you can imagine these intelligence services that realize they've been cut out of critical information and now can see what that information is. It's certainly created some turmoil within the 5 eye community. That's not one. I think the overall import of this leak was to derail, at least temporarily, Israel's plans to retaliate against Iran. It is the news is filled today with allegations implicating an Iranian American, a woman, the chief staff, the assistant secretary for special operations, low intensity conflict, and her name is Tabatabai, but she may be just being hung out there as a scapegoat. And
I remember someone pushing her. I don't know if it was Elon Musk or, some of these propaganda guys on Twitter pushing her like, oh well, that's what you get when you're not living under Iranians, tyrannic, whatever, and just pushing her up like brave American. She deflected the tyrannic. Iran and all that. But please go ahead.
Well, again, I don't. I understand the politics of this. They've identified her, so they at least got a villain, a scapegoat. Whether or not she's really guilty is a whole nother issue. But it's unfortunate that she's already identified. Because I think, if they falsely identified her, then she may have cause legal.
Yeah. But, legal action in the United States, does it work?
Yeah, it does sometimes. It's very hit and miss. It's not, if you're looking for consistency, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, and so these are basically the consequences for internal geopolitics of the United States and the Five Eyes, all that. In the Iranian, you briefly said the consequences, but what do you think it would be the broadest consequences of this, concerning Iran and Iranian's partners or friends like Russia, China, all these guys? As you said, probably they already had the information, but this following this being leaked, what do you think could be the consequence on that direction?
Well, again, it gives, if I'm a Russian analyst or Chinese analyst or even an Iranian analyst, I look at this report and compare it with what we had in our database with what we knew. So did we have the same information? Did we have different information? Did we have less information? If it turns out that what we're reading tracks with what we had already collected, then that would, up my level of confidence in quality of our intelligence. But also provide some insight into just how the West works and how, let's say, disjointed. They're not always on the same page, always cooperating and sharing the same information, as is evident in that document. But the other thing, though, too, was it downplayed. The media's reported as, this is derailed in this Israeli attack. Well, it may have caused Israelis to change their planning, but the message that comes out of those documents is that Israel is not in a rush to retaliate. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see if that changes now because of this.
Yeah, one thing that called my attention when I watched you in The Judge today was the detail that you mentioned about the what's it called, Golden Horizon, and
Golden Horizon.
Exactly, and I find some videos, those clickbait videos that Israel has a new weapon, all this stuff. But I translated Golden Horizon to Hebrew. That was what I found interesting on that. When I translate Golden Horizon to Hebrew, the AI told me that this word could mean not only horizon but also dawn. So and you mentioned Golden Dawn. It's what you mentioned on The Judge yesterday. So it came to my mind, what if this could be a bad translation of intel from Israel into the United States? or something like that.
Yeah, very could be.
But
Yeah, no, it very well could be.
and what I found very interesting was that when I put Golden Dawn on the internet, it refers to an order of what's it called? The Golden Dawn is a historical occult society founded in London by 1888 by William blah 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 and some other guys. Google that, everybody. The group aim to study the practice of theurgy, divination, and other spiritual disciplines, and then it describes everything, and many famous occultists and mythics such as Aleister Crowley and Dion Fortune were members of or influenced by the Golden Dawn teaching. Does everything on these guys have something related to, crazy occultism and Satanism and all that? I mean, if such weapon exists, but being named after that, it's like a signal of following this whatever it's on it.
Yeah, it's possible. That's possible. It could just be a coincidence. I mean that. To work as a reports officer, a lot of times you have to do name traces, figure out who a person is, and they have one which was it became a joke because it was about George Maloof, and they would feed in, they had in rural documents, which were not contrived or made up, and you try to figure out who is the real George Maloof. Well, as you know, in Brazil, suspicious, but then it turned out it wasn't that person, and you saw, oh my God, it was. What they're trying to show is just how complicated this can be in the real world when you're trying to sort out what is the ground truth. So, is it possible that they selected Golden Dawn or Golden Horizon or Golden Calf for some completely different reason? Yeah. And is it also possible that there are satanic, occult style incentives at work? Yeah, that's also a possibility. I don't really think that.
Maloof that you mentioned, it was actually a politician from São Paulo, governor of São Paulo for some mandates, and he was actually in the CIA list or FBI list of what was it? When you money laundering and all that stuff, when you cross borders with money. I forgot the technical name for that. The guy was actually on the FBI or CIA list.
I doubt if he'd be on a CIA list, because when it comes to law enforcement, CIA has no law enforcement authority. CIA may have their own internal list of people they want to target and keep track of, but that's different from what FBI would do in putting someone on a list in order to identify the travel whereabouts to be able to arrest.
All right. Okay. So still on the leak. Oh, sorry, not on the leak, but still on Israel. The drone that hit Netanyahu's house. I saw some reports, and that could be bogey, but I saw some reports that it killed someone else from the IDF that was there, but it was, it was not confirmed. It was something that a little speculative. Apart from the clear message that we can kind of shoot your ass, but apart from that, was there any actual consequence of this?
Well, I've seen no reporting at all in the Israeli press that anyone was killed. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. But I have also seen the Israeli press confirm that at the bedroom window in Netanyahu's house would have gone into his master bedroom if he had been there. So I think they were clearly sending a message. The Hezbollah was sending a message, hey, we can reach out and assassinate you too. That's what we would do. It is, I think it's just a reminder of the difference between the Israelis and Hezbollah. Hezbollah has been trying to minimize civilian casualties and avoiding murdering officials, whereas the Israelis, they embrace both.
How long do you think we can go with this game being played just by one part, Larry? Because this is a Pandora box.
What do you
this
mean?
Assassination game. Because, they have been showing the ability. Iran has bombed a lot of places. Now Hezbollah has bombed, and I saw some reports that an IDF general was killed in South Lebanon.
I thought it was a colonel.
Colonel, exactly. So how long this assassination game can go with only one plane? Because this is kind of a Pandora box. Once you open, it's hard to contain.
Well, yeah, the limits to what Israel can do. They can't kill them all. Number one, the leadership is reconstituted in both Hezbollah and Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
The notion that there's one indispensable man ever replaced has just been exposed as a lie. And Israel's up against its own clock. It's fighting a war of attrition, and it does not have the ability to fight a war of attrition, to sustain the fight. It just doesn't.
Yeah. So let's pivot a little bit to Mosquito here. To the old soap opera. I'm not sure if it's still on TV right now. Ukraine. Is there anything still happening there? I found very amusing the North Korean flag, though.
Yeah, the Ukrainians produced this piece of propaganda claiming that Russia was dependent upon North Korean troops. North Korean troops having to come to Russia's aid because Russia is so weak. It was a lie, but a lot of the media in the West picked it up and run with it. So, the Russian soldiers are having fun with it. Taking a slag heap, artificial mountain created by mining trailings that were pulled out, dirt, et cetera, pulled out of the mine, stacked up, creates a bit of a high hill. The Russians planted both a Russian flag and a North Korean flag on the top of that yesterday. Standing around with a group photo holding up a picture of Kim, the North Korean leader, and one of the Russians waving a North Korean flag. They're just trolling.
Just having fun.
Having fun with it.
Yeah, Commander Farinaza said that it's only missing the flag of Flamengo, the big soccer team in Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, but India, are there? I do believe there are some operations of North Korean, even for training, to learn things like that. Please correct if I'm wrong. Are there any real reports of at least some North Korean? We saw the other day like 3,000. So that's going to win the war, right? 3,000 North Koreans.
Well, it's not even true that there are North Koreans. They saw this picture of people with Oriental features. Okay. Well, Eastern Russia is filled with people with Oriental features who are Russian citizens. So I said that means nothing. It is, you got to look at who's pushing the story. Ask why they're pushing the story. It's the West. It's Ukraine pushing the story, trying to get the West energized so that the West will intervene on behalf of Ukraine. and the West isn't taking the bait.
Yeah, we saw today. I received some reports that South Korea is willing to send some some army there. What are you going to send? K-pop and Gangnam Style guy, something like that?
Yeah, let them go. You know, hard what war is. So,
Yeah, we also received some reports today that two or three Brazilian mercenaries were, eliminated fighting for Ukraine.
yeah,
So, people need money. Wanna
sure.
have some video
it's
game
gonna
fun.
be- Sure, it's going to go higher.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing those reports since the beginning. Some Brazilian guys that just decide, yeah, as we see the Colombians and some other South American dumbasses that decide that it's a great idea to go there. Yeah, but concerning Ukraine, I'm not hearing much more now. Is it apart from Zelensky basically saying that yeah, we pretty much got our ass handled to us?
Yeah, they're not going to report bad news. So they just ignore it. If you don't report it, the whole thing goes away. That's what's crazy about this.
Yeah, the fun part is that it's going away also on social media, where, well, of course, we can see a lot of people talking about it still. But did you see? I saw some reports today that some what's it called, distilleries were hit by Ukraine. Are they trying to cut off the supply of vodka for the army or something like that?
Yeah. No, the Ukraine is just making they're like a bothersome crowd of mosquitoes flying around, stinging here and there, but not able to do any real damage, just being a nuisance.
Yeah. So I'm kind of finished today. I would just like to refer to the article that you wrote about the leaking document. I put the link on the description. I invite everyone to read. It's a great article talking about it. And I also invite everyone to talk about, to watch the judge from yesterday. Every day, mostly, preferably watch it every day. But yesterday's with Larry, Ray, and Alistair Crook. Or 3 excellent episodes for this week. Larry, I'm done with my questions today. It was a short. I thought we were going to get more time on Israel, but not much actually to talk about
We still did 35 minutes. That's not an inconsequential amount of time. People may appreciate the shorter format.
That is a good idea. I should start doing that. I talk too much. Larry, thank you. Yeah, that's a lot of people write this actually, that you should do more the short episodes, like 30 minutes, like the judge does, or like Martinov does. It works better, keeps the attention.
I appreciate it, Marcelo, and enjoy that new baby.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying the parenthood. I'm starting to look better. I even had time to shave today. Larry, thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. Right. Thank you very much, my friend. See you next week. And remember, everybody, all the links are on the description, including Larry's Rumble and BitChute, and sonar21.com, of course. And see you next week, Larry.
All right.
Bye-bye.